Well, this is the kit car, the solar radio controlled kit car. Go ahead, boss. Goes forward and backwards. So Theo, can we see the remote control? Okay, so how do you go forward? And you can back up too?
That one only goes backwards. This one makes turns and goes forward at the same time.
Makes turns and goes forward?
Yes.
Alright. So, let me show you this thing. Can you bring the remote control in to the room? Alright. Let me explain to you how this looks like a cool science project and really is just a total mess. Alright, so let me kind of give you an overview of what we did. So basically, you're going to put together like the axle. Here's the instructions over here. So you're reading the instructions and you're kind of like, I guess it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, but you know, having some like good sense is basically to kind of like look ahead. So, you know, we built this and we built this. Now the first thing is this gear. Well, first of all, the wheels are like impossible to get onto the axles. The axles are like, they're actually, some of them I think came like bent. The holes in here are like so big to prevent like the wood from binding on there that actually the wheels kind of like wobble. You see that? Yeah, there you go. So that's why it's like turning, because like the whole thing is like shifting, or in the rear is shifting. The other problem too, like that we have now, that the way I set it up here, which is a little bit of a mod, like the antenna is supposed to be out here, but then it would contact the wheel. I don't know exactly how, you know, it's kind of use your judgment on the wires. I just kind of like zip tied them and glued them down. But
With super
it's rear heavy, so it's like it's front wheel drive, but it really should be a rear wheel drive. You know, so if you could build it to have like the fins here with the solar panel above the motor and put the controller up front, that would make a lot more sense. You know, because then it would be rear wheel drive. It's going to go forward and backwards. That's all the radio control does. And you know, I
like to go the turd. I like to go with a turd.
Yeah. So, you know, it goes forward and backwards. They give you this tape, and like, but like putting this antenna on was like a total mess, you know, with this like little screw. And all right, so we go through the instructions here. So once we got that together, now this gear here, I literally thought I was gonna break the gear in half. And imagine if that gear broke, the whole project is over, because you couldn't make a drive wheel. So by some miracle, I got the gear onto but I could imagine like if things were cold, like they wouldn't want to go together at all. Luckily, it's like pretty warm here right now. It's like perfect temperature or something. So the gear doesn't go on well. I didn't put this on. What I did is, this step is critical here. And it says use the 3M tape that they give you to stick the motor on there. And that was smart, but what I did was I thought it would be super important to have the wire going out the back. And so I actually had it coming out the front, which would have been fine, you know, no big deal. But then it says to glue it after you connect it to the tape, which is great, but like when I spun it around to try to fix it, I had to actually leave the motor gluing all night, because that's a critical step of using the tape to glue the motor, and then gluing to just to get the motor in the right position. Otherwise, you'll have to let the motor sit all night and glue, which is what I had to do. But this actually holds pretty well. I can't believe that like the motor's not slipping or twisting once it's secured to that beam, you know. And then the other thing that's a big mess is all these wires, you have to connect them with like heat shrink. So here, so like you strip them, you twist them together, and then you put heat shrink over it and use a lighter to, it comes with glue. Actually, the glue is pretty good. It does actually, but we're using some super glue just to get the wires to hold down on here so they wouldn't contact the wheels. But yeah, of course nothing comes stripped. So and the wires are super thin. So really the only,
Can I see it then?
What?
Can I watch it?
Yeah, we're almost done.
Okay.
All right. So you really have to use the lighter. So what you would do is you would light like the end of the wire, get it hot, and then just pull the shield off. That's how you do it. With really thin wiring, when you need to strip it, you heat it with a lighter, and then you pull the shielding off. The only reason I know that is because a friend of mine who used to do car stereos told me that. But yeah, the wiring diagram is like, it's total gimmick. Look at this. So you have the solar panel and the battery going together. They're just merged into the car panel. So this thing is running off, 3 volts battery. And like the batteries are being charged by the solar panel. Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll see how long that works. I mean, granted, is this a real solar panel? Yes, probably. Is it actually charging those batteries? I have no idea. Who knows? To me, it's like a gimmick. They're just merged there, and then this like controller that's in the back that has, oh, it's all coming apart now. I guess. Well, that's me with this antenna sticking out the back instead of on the side. But yeah, I'll throw some glue on there. Yeah, so I mean, it's nice. It's wireless. I mean, it's kind of fun. But like stripping the wires was a joke. Like getting these antennas to like bolt on was a mess. I mean, this is not for kids. It's barely for me, and I'm an auto mechanic. All I do is like work on ridiculous stuff all day, and I'm like doing this, and I'm just like, this is insane. So I don't know, man. I think it'd be much more interesting to build like a real model. Like a model airplane or something, that like snaps together. I mean, these instructions are just terrible. And so, like I said, like I didn't put that piece on because I knew it was critical to get the position of the motor in the correct spot. And then I kind of jammed this piece up into the back of the motor. Just if the motor wanted to twist, it was going to hit this. So that's critical. So skip that part. Obviously, like aligning that gear is super important because your motor is going to be, and kind of figuring out where you want the motor to be aligned is also important. I mean, maybe if we could have put the motor more central, like offset so that it's driving the gear in more of the center part. I don't know. But yeah.
It took us 2 nights.
It took us 2 nights, yeah. Okay, Theo, you want to take it for another ride?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Take the controller. Let's go see if it runs.
Still turns.
It still turns. Good. It's a $40 remote control car that you had to put together yourself. They sent you some wood. You even had to use your own batteries. At least we got those for free. Yeah, see, it would be better. Maybe we'll put some weight up front so it stops spinning its wheels.